What up, my Muppets, and welcome to my channel Stars, where we go through hypothetical and practical scenarios. Today's unit composition is Shield Maiden and Imperial Pike combo. The way this combo works is we're going to use the Imperial Pikes, which is our setup unit. Then we're going to march down the opposing army. Then we use Freya's charge on the Shield Maidens to completely overwhelm and evaporate the enemy as quickly as possible. And I will go through the pros and cons and the doctrines. But first, the doctrines. Gotta have the March or advanced cooldown, just definitely supplementary. Will help them get their cooldowns back quick. Got the charge. Also got the brace damage doctrines and the stun on brace. Now the trees is where you can be split on. Bottom tree, you live long enough, but not knocked down enough. Top tree, you knock down enough, but you die extremely quickly, which is also the problem. So it comes down to how you choose your poisons. Now with the Shield Maiden, we got the Breakthrough Doctrine, Rare Slashing Doctrine, Immunity, Healing, and a certain Epic Spear Doctrine. So you can really go either way with this. You can honestly get better doctrines if you do, but more or less we'll just show you how effective it can be anyways. Now we went with the bottom tree because it provides the biggest damage output that we need. You can try top tree, but I don't think defense is where the Shield Maiden is. I don't really think defense is where they're really good at, in my opinion. So we just went with the more damaging tree at the bottom. And we could up triple strike. So the way we want to work the Shield Maidens is Freya's charge, triple strike, immunity, healing, whatever you can do that you feel is the right situation, considering the amount of orders that they have. And also, they really need to nail their units down, which is why it's recommended that your Shield Maidens usually have the top tier damage stuff for this to work properly. And also, just to be aware of your potential weaknesses considering. Now, these are just the typical damage stuff, just typical numbers, just to show you. And here's the real battle. Now, what's important is that you need to keep your Imp Pikes and Shield Maidens together. Do not have them separate. You need to respond at the same time. There's no point for a setup like the Imperial Pike March, to be able to just so it can't be able to be fully effective if your teammate is away. If your teammate's away and doesn't help you during the charge, during your Imp March, then it can fall pretty short considering the units will get back up. And as you can see, just go for a knockdown. It essentially just knocks down most units anyways, which is why I chose Imperial Pikes, is that we need them on their butts long enough for us to just evaporate them as quickly as possible. And I'm going to say it's definitely not easy and you need good timing to do this. But when you get it done, armies will just evaporate right under the Shield Maiden's feet. And with that, we have 2 armies dead. Iron Reapers, and I assume those were Paladins. Paladins are man-at-arms. Now, the biggest part to all of this is that you have to understand Shield Maiden movement speed. You have no idea how many times Shield Maidens can get ahead of you, and your cavalry defense is probably one of your most important things to do. Now, but honestly, for this one, I don't even think I needed to help my buddy here with this one. Shield Maiden's just completely overpowered the stalwarts. But just for added effect, we'll go ahead and just get that over with as quickly as possible. Now, you need to be able to work together with your Shield Maiden group as well as possible, because they will have to eventually block for you, and you guys are essentially tied in together, because if cavalry comes, Imp Pikes need to be able to kill them and also march down the other armies. So with the Imp Pikes, don't jump the gun and press the march immediately, because after you do, we all know they are dead after that. Time them right, use the Shield Maidens, and use them together to just eliminate as quick as possible. And also, just waiting for my next march here, so we're going to go ahead and march the army down all the same. Whatever they have holding, it won't matter, because the Shield Maidens are just going to rip right through it. And obviously, the Imp Pike Marches, I believe there's a bit of either it gives us more damage or it definitely allows the unit to get damaged more depending on which one it was. Yeah, that's also what's helping us out, is that all these little stats are going to work in our favor because we're working as a team and not separately, which is why it's important for any unit composition that you do to essentially be congruent as one big unit. You just don't want to be separate at all. Your attack power, the amount of HP, just your general stats in terms of numbers will go down immediately. Now with this one, yeah, see, look at that. The bottom tree with the shield maidens will just smash everything. That's why we wanted it, because sometimes we want to save our Imp Pike March. And even though I just used it right there, but hey, situations and pressure makes things happen, and not everything can be done by the book. That's the point of these videos, is to show you the things that can go right and what can go so wrong. Now, for the best part is that we're going to show you on how fast they can die. I'm going to show you two screens. I'm going to show you what's on my screen, then I'm going to show you what's on my buddy's screen to show you how fast a unit can evaporate under pressure like this. So we're going up a siege ladder. My buddy is waiting for me to take the front lead because I am the setup unit. Now, going to go in, AZAPs, just march them out. And as you can see, all the effects for Imp Pikes are taking place during their march, and they just get evaporated immediately on my end of the screen, and we get to save those spear sergeants. For the next army, I thought it was kind of funny considering that they've kind of boxed themselves in, which is a terrible idea, using the slowest units possible on basically the top wall. So we're just basically going to just block them off here, and they can't even do anything either because Fortebracios know they're just not going to just move Imp Pikes easily, especially with the way that their formations are. But pretty soon here, there's a pack of Varangians coming up the stairs, and I'm about to show you how fast they're going to die from this. They're probably always all pumped up as usual, so we're going to go in for Imp Pike March. Just knock them down, let the Shield Maiden do the work. So just knock down and charge. That's what you want from this. And look at that. Those Varangians lasted no more longer than a green unit. That's how strong these two-man strats can be, as long as you have your timing and everything down with the right units, with the right type of strategy. And with that, we're going to completely eviscerate this area. And they're just about finished here. Now, I'm going to show you my buddy's screen on how fast they can melt with this. So he sees me going up. He knows to make sure to wait up for my Imp Pikes because of their speed. Make sure you remember that. So he's waiting for my march. Let him know I'm marching, and then boom, just completely mollywopped AZAPs. And you see how fast it's going up? They're just so helpless against this, and with the extra little stats we put in, just completely melted him faster than he would have expected, even though he basically had his parry on with his little mini parry shield. And yeah, we're just going to show you real quick. I think, oh wow, didn't even know my buddy launched a treb, I think. Oh, that's funny. I was wondering who did that. Almost got hit a few times, but hey, sometimes you can't be scared in the face of danger. So yeah, and now we're just going to wait for that pack of Varangians to show up, and then we're going to show you his side of the tape here. And here they come. Beautiful. Yep, looks like he engaged first, but it doesn't matter because we're about to just make them look like they don't even belong. And with that, gets a hero kill, the entire Varangian unit dead, and delicious. Exactly what we want. Effective, strong, and there was nothing they can do about it. Now, for this next part, it's definitely going to be a little tricky when you're on more open maps because your procedure has to be much slower than usually, because with extra cavalry you need to be there to help get the job done. See, like wide open spaces like these, whenever you're marching through, make sure you are watching the back. You have no idea how many people don't take it upon themselves to watch flanks. So usually, if you're paranoid, just do a slow, just tactical retreat style. Just one person moves, then after that, the other person can move. Other than that, cavalry it'll still run this army over. if assuming that they're not set properly. As you can see, they can cut through there or through the back, but we're already covering it, and we are well aware. Now, what the enemy team aren't aware of is that stalwart team right there is just about to go right now. Now, quick note about stalwarts: they have probably one of the weakest blocks. Like, it's strong, but it gets knocked down, which is why like stalwarts are kind of a primary attack for a primary meal for a unit like your unit composition like this, considering that I can knock them down still, and the Shield Maiden's damage just suppresses them. And look at that. Immediately melt. Just Imp Pike March and just brace after. And just let the Shield Maiden do what they gotta do. And this should prevent you from getting extra cav attacked in the front, considering our brace formation. Now, I'm about to show you my buddy's end. And yeah, this is where the good part comes in. Now I get to show you what it's like when units get evaporated as quickly as they do. Which is what you'll notice about most of these highlight videos that I have, is that units will die extremely quickly. And it's not because he's getting lucky, and it's not because we have all these factors going for us, aside from this one. But the point of the matter is that we force an engagement, and we get the effect that we want. And you see that? Look at those numbers. That's the stalwarts melting extremely quickly just because of our combined stats. And you could just really tell too, because stalwarts really stick in there, but not against that. Alright, now I'm about to show you a really annoying weakness for this unit composition, which is a little... It's definitely annoying that we get hit by these certain units, but usually the ISGs, as we all know, will stop an Imp Pike March. The Marillions is more or less, it's definitely a big issue with their knockback. It just seems like something with their knockdowns, or something seems wrong with them, in my opinion. It seems like once their animation goes, it can't get stopped like this. That's where your Imp Pike Marches can get stopped. During one of my tests, I think the best way to remedy this is to just... I think it might have to come down to the Shield Maidens countercharging. So once the Marillions charge, I feel the Shield Maidens might have to charge against them just to stop them and delay them long enough. And as you can see, this is where a build like this can completely fall apart, just because of like how much knockdowns they have. Now, I'm going to show you what this kind of thing can do to really high tier units, as long as you have very good teamwork and you know your matchups. Right now, we're here just trying to take the last point. Very difficult considering the enemy is all over the area. Now, what we have here is a Shield Maiden and 2 S.T.A.R. units, and we're about to annihilate all of them, just to show you how effective it is. And this is the part about the hypothetical bottom and top tree. I could have possibly knocked down more at a time, but would I have survived this? Big question. So yeah, I go ahead and I Imp March them in, put them on brace, and the Shield Maidens are just doing as much damage as possible. And look at that. So many high tier gold units went down, even with their combined efforts. That was 3 squads of Golden Era units, 2 S.T.A.Rs and Shield Maiden, and we made them look like they didn't even belong there. So on my buddy's point of view, I'm going to show you his Freya's charge, and he's going to wait for my Imp March. And right as that happens, bang, he's going to go in for the kill to do as much damage as possible. And that's how we were able to get those 3 gold tier units, so that we were able to swoop them up so quickly. So, in conclusion, use the Imperial Pike March and the Shield Maiden charge to completely destroy enemy units. But also, the main goal is that once they've been downed by the Imperial Pikes, you make sure that they stay down with the Shield Maiden charge. Be in mind, Imperial Pikes, Marillions, certain CC units do cause this unit problems. Keep that in mind. Like and subscribe to my channel if you like my content, and I will come back with more unit compositions later. If you have a comp, go ahead and put it in the comment section and I will try them out, and I'll see you on the battlefield.